We'll start the meeting now. I'll call the meeting to order at 6:09. If we could all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Okay.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America,
and to the republic for which stands one nation,
under
God,
God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If we could all just remain standing for a moment, I'd like to have a moment of silence for the recent passing of Linda Coppola. Linda was a supporter, a friend, an educator to multi-generations of families in Derby. She's the wife of former Derby Finance Director Sal Coppola and the aunt to Derby Town Clerk Mark Garfalo, and she'll be greatly missed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so Trish, if you're all set, if you can call the roll call, please. I see Trish on, but she's on mute. I'm not sure if she's having trouble.
I'm sorry, I was talking. She's covering another meeting as well, so she's there recording, but I'll call the roll.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Cappiello?
Here.
Mr. Hyder?
Here.
Mrs. Kurtica?
Here.
Mr. LaRoque?
Here.
Mr. LaRoque? Mr. Malerba?
Here.
Mr. McCluster?
Here.
Ms. McKay? Mr. Palastro?
Here.
Mr. Smay?
Here.
Mr. Stanky?
Present.
Record should reflect you have a quorum, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much. Okay, we don't have the minutes from the August 5th meeting, so if I can have a motion to table those till the next meeting.
So moved. Oni.
Seconded, McCluster.
Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Malerba and a second by Mr. McCluster. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Okay, so number 6, we're going to review the amendments of the August 5th draft report from the Board of Aldermen. Discussion and possible action on the amendments from the Board of Aldermen. So the Board of Aldermen met. We went through each of the suggestions, and we have the screen shared tonight, so we'll go through that now and outline. Most of you were there, or not most, a good majority of, maybe most, were at that meeting, so we're aware of the changes that were made, but we'll go through those tonight, and then we can hopefully send this back to the Board of Aldermen for maybe hopefully a special meeting on Thursday. So, Vin, are you sharing the screen now?
Yes.
Okay.
Like from a process standpoint, so we're all on the same page, we're only going to be reviewing the comments the proposals that were rejected by the aldermen. There's no need to talk about anything that both bodies agree on. So that's going to be the limitation of the conversation. Mark is going to direct us to kind of through our orders of the day, and the orders of the day will be to review the areas that either the Board of Aldermen rejected or the Board of Aldermen modified certain provisions that you had not addressed. So we'll review that. But before we begin, if I could just have a couple minutes to give everyone, just bring everyone up to speed on the emails that I copied you on over the last 24 hours. I just want to make sure that, again, everyone's hearing it directly from me as Corporation Counsel rather than out on the street. It's not a matter of conversation, it's just a matter of report. If anyone has any specific questions, I would ask them just to be limited because I don't think it's really much to talk about. But there was a constituent who had issues. I don't know what her issues were specifically, but originally the individual had served the city with freedom of information request, requesting the names, addresses, telephone numbers of all boards and commissions in the city, including town committee, the two town committees. And that information was provided to the best of our ability, the town does not maintain, the city does not maintain the specific list that she was looking for, but to the extent she was entitled to information, I gave her what she was entitled to. After I provided that to her, she submitted a letter to the city where she basically took the position that this body was illegally constituted because by statute, no more than 1/3 of the membership of this body can be held by anyone who holds any other public office. And she took the position that any other public office included being a member of the 2 town committees. So therefore, if she were correct, you know, there would be more than 1/3 of the membership being of holding any other public office. I received her letter. I read her letter. I researched her letter. I read case law on issue, found a case that was on, you know, as close to on point as I could. This really comes down to a question of statutory construction and what did the legislature intend. But if you followed along in my response, in my opinion, town committee members are not public officers for purposes of individuals holding public office. They are not elected by the general population. They are elected in accordance with specific party rules. They have no authority other than to take action in accordance with their party, party rules, and that's the limitation. And like the judge said in the decision that I forwarded to the individual with my opinion, there's nothing to suggest in the statute anywhere that these individuals would be public officials. So I warned her not to bring frivolous lawsuits in the court, which would cost the city money. And as of this moment in time, I have not received a writ summons and complaint. But what she did, claiming she had not yet reviewed my email, she sent her letter to the press. So I received that last night. I did not want to wait till the morning. I wanted to get out ahead of it because I wanted to put the press on notice that it was my position that the information contained in her letter was inaccurate. And the way that defamation laws work against public officials is the press would be protected if they publish something in good faith. So if they did not have reason to know the falsity of the information. So I wanted to put everyone on notice that I had already provided a response letter indicating that the individual's position was inaccurate and that the statements contained therein were false and they were impugning the integrity of city officials. And that she was now acting with a reckless disregard for the truth, and she was, you know, basically putting herself in jeopardy. We then, you know, she claimed what she claimed, and I sent my final response where I said, you know, this is not a game. This is of debate and discussion. As Corporation Counsel in the city of Derby, I have the final say on all matters that involve the law, and only a court can reverse my opinion. So unless and until a court does, that's my opinion. But I believe that my opinion is well grounded in the law and in the facts before us. So that's where we are. I do understand that she may have posted on Facebook. My suggestion is no one should be engaging in a dialogue on this matter. There's nothing to be gained from it. And basically my position at this moment, which is really simplified in my final email, will just stand for itself. And if she files a lawsuit, we'll deal with it. But again, as of this moment, I'm unaware of it. And unless anyone has any questions, I would just ask Mark to draw us to our first area of the charter to discuss.
Just one point of order, Vin, not reference to this. Rob, we have to go back. I don't want anything to jeopardize this.
Public
We missed the public portion, just so they can't say we didn't have it.
I was just thinking the same thing. Thank you.
I was delaying so you would see that. You know, thank you.
Yeah.
Good answer, good answer.
Yeah, as Vin was speaking, I was looking at the agenda and I realized that myself. So does anyone have any questions for Mr. Marino before I do the public portion?
No.
Okay. All right. So is there anyone from the public who wishes to speak? Second time, is there anyone from the public that wishes to speak? Third call, is there anyone from the public that wishes to speak? Okay, hearing none, we'll close the public portion and move on to number 6. So Mark, whenever you're ready, you can start.
I am ready. The first
Okay.
section will be section 1.
Okay, so section 1, the only change, really more grammatical or stylistic than anything else, is we included the word, we changed general statutes to Connecticut general statutes, all capitalized. I don't
Okay,
think that should be controversial.
nope.
Okay, the next section would be section 4.
And by the way, there's one change, rejection that I think Mark will just do up front, because that change was throughout the document. So the Board of Aldermen, older women rejected the proposal that they change the name to the Board of Alders. So you may have seen this document previously with red lines all over the place. When what I did with the aldermen, exactly what I was doing with you, is as we were going through it, I was making the changes to the red line. So all the places where we changed their aldermen, older women to alders are now in their original form. So I'm not going to go back through the document and pointing to every area, but that's why it still says aldermen, older women, because they rejected it. But we can address that specifically when we get to it in the list. So you said section 4, and section 4 was the, can you explain the change, Mark?
Yes, there's in section D, in the new section D, it's what they changed was to where it says in line 2, where it says his or her nomination. Before we said just election, but they wanted to add in nomination or election. So basically, if you don't live in the city, you can't. Not only can't you serve, but you can't run either.
Right.
You just had it so that they couldn't take office, but the
Right.
aldermen wanted it so that they couldn't even run in the first place unless they lived in the proper place for them to run for the office.
Makes sense.
Okay,
Yep.
all right.
And then also in section 4, there was also a could you go up, Vin? Was there some change up above? I have two entries in.
2 to 4.
Well, 2 to 4, that was there though. Mark, I feel like the part of the problem is I should have my other red line up, because when we rejected, I just put it back. So
no, that's okay. It should be okay. That I no, they agreed with you. The 4 years they agreed with you, so there's no reason for us to talk about that here.
Right.
And I think it was just that clarification of land. I have 2 things here: requiring residency to run and serve in local office, and then just that clarification of the way, a little bit of the way the language would change there, and really in section D. In section D, that was
the primary change, I believe.
yes. Okay, and then okay, so that's. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. So then go to section 5. That's where they're together, so it was a little hard to read. Yes. So in this case, it was the clarification of the language right at the beginning, where you had any vacancy in any city or ward office, and they changed it to just say any vacancy in any elective office.
Yes, they bested me in my attempt to limit the words. They made fewer words than my eyes saw. So I think their change would be recommended. Means the same thing. You're just simplifying the language.
Okay. And then also in section 5, that is the place where the first change of the from Board of Aldermen / Alderwomen to Board of Alders was there. That was where they rejected that part. So you have to.
Right. So 2 issues here. One is really a simplification of language, and then the more substantive is, do you want to battle with them over what they're called? You know, I mean, it was your recommendation that they change their name to the Board of Alders. Now, it's not that it's while they serve on the board, it's the people's body, so it's, they're serving today. You all don't always have to agree, and I'm not looking for contest either. I'm simply saying, if anyone feels strongly one way or the other, there's a process that is designed to try to, again, this is supposed to be about civil debate on subjects, but if you're all in agreement also, that's fine. But those are the two concepts there. The only one that I would see as substantive is what you call your legislative body.
Yeah, and that vote went 7-1, so being the one in support of the change. So we would have to change 7 or 8 other aldermen. So I don't think that's an issue that we should probably pursue.
All right.
Okay.
Next part.
Next section will be section be new section 10. And again, this was the clarification of the language in terms of the starting of the term. I think it goes, it's new section 10, the next one then. Yeah, so it's
Okay,
the,
so on this one, basically, this is again more cleanup than anything else, is to simplify or avoid confusion. We simply deleted language and said that whatever position we're talking about shall hold office until their respective successors are appointed. Because in theory, if we left it in, as we said, it was until the first Saturday of December, so it was in line with the swearing in of the new mayor or the mayor who got reelected. If the incumbent position expired on that day, the newly elected mayor would not yet be in a position to make the appointment, because by charter he has 30 days from the date of appointment, the date that he's sworn in, to fill these positions. So you don't want to force vacancies in any of these positions or any of the appointed positions. So we just simplified the language to say that they serve until their successor is appointed.
because, and also because right at the beginning of the paragraph, it says within 30 days after assuming office,
Right.
the mayor, so that made sense, I think, to everybody there.
So again, it means the same thing in that the mayor-elect gets sworn in on a Saturday. He gets make those appointments a minute after. He doesn't have to wait, or she doesn't have to wait 30 days because they may have it all teed up in their transition. But this just makes it easier and avoids potential problems.
Right. Okay, so the next one is section 13, new section 13. And this was not something that they discussed. It was the issue of, it was just a
All the women were
typo.
omitted.
Pardon?
All the women were omitted?
Yeah, see where it says in line 4? You put we added the alderwomen in line 2, but if you go to line 4, I see where it says including members of the, and there's a comma here, right there.
Oh,
That
yeah.
should say members of the Board of Aldermen / alderwomen. No, there too,
No,
where
no,
you are.
line
Oh,
4. Yeah,
I just don't like typing.
oh, good, sorry.
Don't kill me while I'm typing. All right,
Oh,
we're
no,
good.
sorry, I don't want to hurt
That's
your
okay.
fingers.
Yeah.
But
All right, all good.
is that okay with everybody?
Yeah.
Okay, then the next one is new 15. There was, I think they were okay with changes, but I think there was a little tweaking of it. I think the Connecticut General Statutes,
Yeah, no,
and book or record,
the record came from this body.
right?
It was simply, and it was, Alderwoman DeGennaro was a stickler for punctuate, this was just really a punctuation or a grammar thing, Connecticut General Statutes capitalized.
Okay.
So it's not changing anything that the treasurer currently does. It's just a matter of, right.
Yeah, it's stylistic, nothing substantive.
Okay, the next one is then section 27. I'm use all the new numbers. So.
Yep.
So in this case, they changed the one thing that they changed. It is in line. I can't tell which line, but it's right. It's the third line down from what you could see right now. You had said that I
recall this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and Mark, we're going to probably have to tag team on this one a little bit just to make sure we get it right. But the way it was originally written, the department heads would give their budget to the mayor. The mayor,
No.
the way we had submitted it to them.
Oh yes. Yeah. I'm sorry. I beg your pardon.
Right. The way that this body submitted it to them, and again, whatever I don't know if we really spoke substantively about what your intention was, but the way that it read, the department heads gave their estimates for the coming fiscal year budget to the mayor. The mayor then put a budget together and presented that to the vote. The vote then, at least the way it read, was kind of cut out from interfacing with the department head. So, and again, there's no right or wrong way of doing this. The chief elected official, the mayor in Derby, and first selectman in other communities, they are the supervisor, if you will, of all the department heads. So for that person to kind of synthesize what the administration is going to need to function, and then present that to the financial board for review, that's the way it's done in many communities. The Board of Aldermen felt that it should kind of be a hybrid of that, where the department head should give it to both the mayor and the vote simultaneously. Let the mayor go through it, but let the vote have the raw data from the department heads, so that when the vote was looking at formulating the final budget, with or without the mayor's input, because they could reject the mayor's proposed budget, they would at least have the data not washed down from the mayor's office, but direct from the department head. It seemed to make logical sense from based on what they were looking for. So what we simply did on that was we said that we added the word here. So I'm pointing to it like you were watching my finger. All right, here we go. So it's the department head shall submit to the board, which is the vote, and the mayor, as opposed to just the mayor. And so that was the substantive difference that was made by the Board of Aldermen at this in this paragraph. Mark, I don't think there was any other substantive changes here.
No other changes.
Right. So, and that was the reasoning for it. They felt the vote should have the raw data. So, unless anyone has any major objection, I on this one, I mean, I would probably defer to the aldermen, since they are kind of involved. They work with the budget more regularly, and if they're wanting the vote to have this data, I don't think there's ever a problem with giving information.
Yeah, I think that's good. No?
All right. What's next, Mark?
Next is new 35.
Okay. What we did is, this one we simply, it was the tax collector serves until his or her successor is appointed. We just kind of copied we made the language consistent with the way we had made the changes before. So it's no longer until any biennial election, but it's just simply until the.
And also the language that says in the event that there was a vacancy, that it shall be filled in 30 days.
That's right. There's a mandated. You don't want a mayor right, wrong, or indifferent, saying we don't need a tax collector, right? And therefore sit back and not make the appointment. So we said 30 days is a reasonable window of time for a mayor to make the appointment. So now there's they have no choice, they have to make these. And trust me, in many towns I represent, they'd love not to have a tax. A conflict sometimes between offices. So that's it. So that was the substantive change here, I would say, is this 30-day time window. Does anyone feel that that's too much time, too little time, or you're all okay with it?
No, that's a good time.
Good.
All right. Next, Mark.
Number 50.
All right. So where did we make the change here? Connecticut General Statute, capitalized.
And also the public signpost was
Yeah,
deleted.
so we don't have a public signpost anymore in the colonial sense. What we're basically, the bulletin board outside in the hallway at town hall is kind of the public signpost. Putting it on the door could be the public. So instead of getting caught up on the concept of our colonial signpost, we simply said it has to be posted publicly in the city. So it could be anywhere in the city as long as it's a public location and also on the website and in accordance with the statute. So that was just really modernization, I would call it.
Yeah, that's-
Concerns?
Yep.
All right, next, Mark. Oh, and what we did,
50, new 51.
yeah, so what we did is this was just cleanup. We had overlooked that when we were changing these section numbers from time to time, the body number had to change as well. So really there's nothing to object to on that because it just follows each other. What do you have next, Mark?
53.
53?
Yep.
All right, so yeah, so this one, they understood the recommendation, but they had pause when it came to the city treasurer having a designee. Because with the Board of Aldermen, Alderwomen, or the vote, they're a body of more than one. So they could ask, one of their members to cover for them. But the city treasurer is a single person. Who is that individual going to designate? And the way it was written, he or she could designate their spouse. It doesn't necessarily had to have been a city official. So they did not want to give the authority to the city treasurer to have a designee in this instance. And they wanted to define better because when I said, well, even the president of the Board of Aldermen, he could have his wife come, or because the charter doesn't limit it, we specifically defined that the designee shall be a member of their each respective board. So now we know it has to be a person from the Board of Aldermen, Alderwomen, or the board. And the city treasurer is only the city treasurer. All right.
The next one is the next section 54.
This one, I think it was just similar parallel language where we simply said that they serve until their successors are appointed.
Correct. Yeah, taking out that first that sentence that's crossed out about the first Monday in June. All right, and then the next one is 55.
55 is again, I think not a moment of objection. We had to change this reference to section 57 because the section number changed. So, but then when I looked at it, I'm saying it seems somewhat weird the way we're writing. We're in section 57, yet we're referring the reader to section 57, which was confusing me. Why are you, because your eye would look up. So we just simply said this section. So this way in the future, if the charter changes, we don't have to keep changing these internal numbers. And again, there was another change there. We just said this section.
Yeah. The next one is section 61.
Yeah, so there were, we changed jaw to law. That was just a clear typographical error that no one caught. And even a spell check would not have correct. So, and it's at the end, it's at the, buried in section 61, which was 63. So the eyes grew tired by the time most of us read that far. There was no reason for it, but I think I will just give a commendation to, I think it was Alderwoman DeGennaro who caught that. So at least we know she read the whole thing.
Okay, number 65?
65. Yes, so this was the finance director. So the Board of Aldermen said, well, wait, it's not the clerk that does this, it's the finance director. So this was just changing the city position that was responsible in this regard. And we changed April. Again, this was another oversight on our part. We changed April to February to be consistent with the new budget timeline. We didn't want to give the Board of Ed until April when everyone else only had until February. So that's all that was. Next part.
87.
All right, we deleted the last line. Which I guess is no longer relevant language.
If you want, Vin, I can explain that.
Okay.
East End never had an assistant chief prior to being in 2003. They added them in as a company, and they had to add them in as assistant chief. The chief came from, it was companies 1, 2, and 4. So to add East End into the rotation to make it 1, 2, 3, 4, that's how that was done. So it's a normal rotation now. It goes between companies 1, 2, 3, and 4. So there's no need to have that any longer. All companies are represented.
Okay. So again, that was, we'll qualify that as cleanup. And that is the end of the change. For those who were looking, we are almost at Mr. Flusser's 40-minute. I think we just may be beyond it. So are there any comments or questions? Otherwise, Mr. Chair, I yield the floor back to you.
I do got one real quick one. It just popped up in my mind. I apologize for not bringing it up right in the beginning. The part about living, not living in Derby, is that,
Yeah.
I just want to make sure that's not like we're going against like a state statute, because I believe this came up 2 years ago in the state representative race. So I just want to put that out there. I'd be doing a disservice. It just literally popped in my mind.
If I'm not mistaken, we could be more strict. We just can't, we can't supersede the state, correct?
Correct.
So we could actually be more strict, Tony, than the state statute.
Right. You know,
Okay.
this may not be, this may create conflict with the party rules. I don't know what the Democrat and Republican Party rules are about nominations per se, but, you know, at the end of the day, as a local Democrats and Republicans and all residents of the city, you'd want to nominate people who could actually serve, I would imagine. So this is a kind of a, it's almost when you hear the conversation and the debate, it's like you're talking, at the end of the day, it's about the election and about the service. Unless it's a strategical, I could see potentially this being abused if you were a popular person but did not reside in the community and were going to run for a particular party to seize the seat. Because once elected, that you would then be vacated because you would not be entitled to serve, and then another person of the same party would have to fill the vacancy. So I could, if you don't have the word nomination in there, while I doubt this would happen, I do conceive of a possibility of there being an abuse. And I'm sure there are examples around the country of such. So I mean, I like the more restriction on the nomination, but I do appreciate the highlighting it. But I believe we're okay.
Okay, thank you. Like I said, it just popped in my head. I just wanted to make sure we weren't doing, that's all. I just didn't want to bring any more unwarranted attention that we needed. So I appreciate it. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Were there any other questions? Okay, so before we move to approve the final report back to the Board of Aldermen, Alderwomen, Mr. Marino, is this something that you need to create the questions for the for Thursday, or is this something that
Yeah, so the questions, actually, so I have questions that have been created. I don't know if we've been circulated to this body, but if I can, I'll pull them up quick and then I'll show you them. But the alderman would like it to be, the questions to be more specific so that the constituent, you know, for example, shall the term, you know, I think one of the questions might be, shall the term of all elected offices be changed from 2 years to 4 years? Which I thought was generally a straightforward type question and simple enough for the constituent to understand. The alderman would like to say, shall section 4 of the charter be amended so that all elected offices shall hold for a 4-year. So, you know, so they want to point the constituent to the specific charter section that is being revised. So that's going to be okay and easy in some instances, and in other instances it may be a little clumsy, but I'll try to work through that, and between me and Mark, we'll have it for Thursday.
okay, so that's nothing that this board needs to look at prior.
No, the questions get set after, really, I did them more preliminarily just so people could see them, so I could get some feedback, but really
Okay.
the questions get set after these issues are settled between you and the Board of Aldermen.
Right, okay.
But
I
once
have
they're
one-
available, I'll publish them for everyone to see.
Okay,
Sorry, I have one simple question, and I was actually on the call with the alders. This is McCluster. And they were engaged in this conversation before I got on. So as I got on, they were finishing off and making that decision to change from alders to remain at aldermen and alderwomen. And I just wondered what the rationale was behind that. It's not a deep question, just wondered what they were thinking, why they felt compelled to differentiate between men and women.
The only
I don't-
reason I heard at the meeting was that, well, we just changed it a couple of years ago to aldermen/alderwomen. I didn't think it was much of a great reason, but it was the only one I heard.
yeah, that was essentially the reason, because it was just changed 4, 5, 6 years prior. So they didn't want to go ahead and suggest that change again.
Okay, just curious. What
Yeah, it was as simple as that.
Okay, thanks, appreciate it.
Sure.
Sorry I butted in.
Okay, so if there's no other questions, I just want to actually make a note for the record that Sam Palastro had to leave the meeting at 6:36. So when we vote tonight, he will not be included. So if I could have a motion to approve the changes from the Board of Aldermen and send it back for their final review.
Chuck Stanky, I so move.
I have a motion from Mr. Stanky.
I'll second it. I can second it.
I have a second from Mrs. Kurtica. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, that concludes our work for the moment. So it'll go back to the Board of Aldermen.
Mr.
unless
Hyder?
there- Yes, go ahead, Mr. Marco.
Yeah, so you should move to item number 7, though. The appropriate vote, I would defer to council, but pursuant to the relevant section of the statute, in this phase of it, if you've accepted all their revisions and concurred, so both boards are presumably in concurrence, then, so you need to then, the proper motion would be item number 7, move to approve the final report of amendments to the
Okay, so,
charter.
understood, okay, so
Charter
we'll
of the
just,
City of Derby for submission, because then they have to vote on that.
I'll
okay,
amend
so,
my motion to say such.
Okay, the motion would be to
I
move
think-
to approve the final report of the amendments to the charter of the city of Derby for submission to the Board of Alderwomen. And I have a motion by Mr. Stanky. I'm sorry,
I'll
Yeah, you should take
second
that as a new motion.
correct,
second.
yep.
Yeah.
I have a motion by Mr. Stanky and a second by Mrs. Curtica.
Yep.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay,
And Mark, I'm emailing that, the final revised draft as adopted tonight now for, if you could circulate, that, to the aldermen, I would appreciate it, in the ordinary course. And, do I need to sign off and sign back on, or can I just sit here?
No, no, you need to sign back on using the planning and zoning. It's a different login.
Oh, I got it. Okay.
Yeah, it's
All
a
right.
different login. Okay.
hey, Mark, do you need me to contact Joe DiMartino for a special meeting on Thursday, or? that something
Yeah,
that-
probably we could all probably do that. Maybe if you wouldn't mind reaching out to him tonight, Rob, and then
Okay.
we can address it tomorrow.
Okay, sounds good.
I'll copy him on this email as well.
All right, if I could have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to
A
adjourn.
motion by Mrs. Curtica,
Second by Mr. LaRoque.
second by Mr. LaRoe. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, everyone. Have a great night.
Okay, thank you.
It's
Thank you.
6:49, and thanks everybody for a great job.
Thank you.